I'm standing. I have a standing desk, and it goes up and down. I'm living in the year 3000 over here. Thank you for watching. This isn't an overnight VR. I got a new job, and I've just been rearranging my whole office currently. It's all done, almost. My second monitor isn't working, and I'm gonna try and get an overnight done this coming week. So this is just another quick little video. Hello. And today we are gonna be taking a look at the Half-Life 2 chapter tier list video, which I promised I'd make. So, again, this is scary. I don't want to piss anybody off. This is one of my favorite games of all time. You know, besides Bloons Tower Defense. I'm joking. No, it is one of the best video games of all time. I personally like this one better than Half-Life 1. And each chapter I want to put in A or S, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna play fair. If there's a chapter I'm like, hey, it wasn't as good, maybe we'll have a D. I doubt we'll have an F. That would be incredible. I don't think there's gonna be any Fs here, but let's get into it. First chapter, Entanglement. Entanglement. Okay, so this is the chapter immediately following Nova Prospekt, where you're working your way through the rest of Nova Prospekt with Alex, and setting up turrets. A really cool mechanic in that chapter. The turret defense, almost kind of like tower defense. Holy, we're going all the way back to Bloons here. It's like a tower defense little mechanic that they added in there. And that's when Half-Life is really doing something great, is when things are a certain way for a while, and then there's almost like this new mode in the game that's been added, like tower defense, or, you know, antlions are now your friends, kind of a thing. We'll get to that in a bit, but Entanglement, you find out Judith Mossman betrayed you. Eli gets taken away by Judith in the freaking teleporter to the Citadel. You have to fight off all these Combine with turrets. I think this is a pretty fantastic chapter. It's not the best chapter. Where would I put it? I might actually go with S. I really like Entanglement. It's not perfect. Would it be an S? I'm gonna put it in S for now, just because it's my first tile, guys. It's my first tile. Oh yeah, studio update. I got a microphone arm that works. It's crazy. All right, on to what really matters in this world, and I'm not talking about the Ukrainian war. I'm talking about this tier list. That's a joke. Slava Ukraini. Let's do, okay, so our benefactors. Our benefactors. Oh man, you're finally at the Citadel. The journey, it was constantly looming throughout the game. You always could see the Citadel, unless, you know, certain chapters. But, you know, it was always this big sort of pinnacle fixture of City 17, and, you know, it's ominous, and it's like, what is in that freaking building? You know, are they constructing a ginormous PP, for instance? I would hope so. It turns out they are not. But our benefactors is actually pretty sure. I don't really think well, okay, actually, I take it back. This is where you get the freaking super gravity gun. Woo! Okay, I was about to say, it was like an A. You go on some little rides through the Citadel. All your weapons, you eventually get into a room, a security room. All your weapons vanish. Man. You get the super gravity gun. You can pick up bodies of Combine and throw them at each other. Energy orbs. Whew, that was a great chapter. Oh, man. I'll put it... You know, I'll put that one in S, and I'll put Entanglement in A for now, okay? I reserve the right to switch these all around at the end, once I have, like, all this under my belt here. Yeah, our Benefactors is a fantastic chapter. You finally feel like you're in the, you know, the lion's den. You know, you're reaching up, trying to get through the top of the Citadel. You're, you know, brains, pubes are everywhere. That's not true. I don't even know why I said that. It's a great chapter. Really good chapter. Point Insertion. Ooh. Rise and shine. Joe Biden, rise and shine. Yeah, this is a fantastic intro into the game. You come in on that train after the events of Half-Life 1, not really knowing what's going on. You step off a train, you're in a city, and it's, being oppressed by these, people called or I guess aliens called the Combine, or I guess genetically modified human, whatever. I don't want to get into the minutia of it. The Combine, or, telling you to pick up cans and shit. Really annoying. You run into Barney almost immediately. You think you're going to be interrogated, and then he's like, you got to get to Dr. Kleiner's lab. Like, I'll get you a beer, Gordon, whatever. You go through the streets, you see first view of the Citadel. It's a lot of world building and world absorption. Not a lot happens in this chapter from a gameplay perspective, but that's really important, sort of just like the first chapter of Half-Life 1, where it's just world building. Look at that, you're at a top secret facility, you absorb that, and you're like, okay, I guess I'm a theoretical physicist. Half-Life 2, you're like, okay, so we've been enslaved by the Combat? Who are these people? Who's Dr. Breen on the TV? And you're just kind of absorbing all that information as you go through, so it's a great intro, honestly. It gets the events moving. You have to run from the police unarmed. Hey. Man, I'm such a fanboy, I can't help it. Okay, dark energy. So this is the end of the game. We're going from the beginning to the very end of the game right now. Actually, I'll talk about dark energy. Screw it right now. Let's just go for it. Dark energy, so you're finally at the very top of the Citadel. You run into Breen. He's got you, Eli, Alex captured. He's gonna teleport Eli and Alex off world. Judith ends up pulling a triple agent and, basically stun guns Breen. What happened? She stun guns the monitor, pulls you out, and then Breen picks up the graphic. Blah, blah. Then you have to go and run all up at this platforming thing to the top, very top of the Citadel at the dark energy reactor and blow it up, basically. I'm gonna be honest, it's not the best chapter. It's fine. I mean, it does what it needs to do. You get to the top, you have a little moment where you kind of blow up, but the teleport fight, it's not really a fight. It feels a little anticlimactic. Not to say that the ending of the game is bad. I think the ending of the game is fine, but that's not really what makes Half-Life 2 so good, is like this crazy ending. It's not like the Half-Life Alyx ending, let me say that. The rest of the game is just the phenomenal part of Half-Life 2, but it does what it needs to do. G-Man shows up, get in my box, get in my little black coffin, whatever you have to do. He puts you in stasis. I'll give it a C. Just to be fair, it's fine. It is what it is. Let's see. Follow Freeman. Yeah, you snipers. You meet up with Barney again. You're kind of still Street Wars territory. Eventually you have to go to the Nexus and take out the suppression gun or whatever. And that whole area is like a big hub. That takes a little bit of time to work your way through. Cool chapter. I do like the suppression weapon. And you have to kind of like run from it as you get into the Nexus. And it's kind of like this, not like a heist, but it feels like you're getting in there. You're storming a building with your rebels. Just like Trotsky and freaking, early Soviet Russia, that was a coup, if you don't know your history, which I don't know much, but I know a couple of things. Yeah, it's a fantastic chapter. Not a lot happens really either that's like necessarily mechanically or gameplay-wise that's revolutionary. Write that sentence down, and that won't even be English. Good chapter, solid. I would give it a B. Nothing crazy. Barney's cool. Cool meeting up with Barney. And then, yeah, eventually you get into the Citadel at the end with Dog after the Street Wars and stuff. Okay, along the same lines, Anticitizen One. Right after the teleporter goes, haywire and Nova Prospekt. Now you're on the streets. Starts off with you and Dog. And it's just a big street war as you kind of work your way through the streets towards the Citadel. Now, a really cool part of this chapter that I always really enjoyed, as you probably know, right at the very beginning-ish, eventually, I mean, you kind of end up right back in the plaza where the game first started, right back in point insertion where you first see the Citadel. I love that in games. I love when you have that kind of moment, like, oh man, look at how far I've come, right? Like, I was here, and now I'm here, and the city's in chaos and ruin, and people are just dying everywhere. It just puts a smile on my face. But the gameplay is, you know, pretty much par for the course for Half-Life 2. I would say that, again, there's nothing no new mechanics here, nothing that really elevates it. But it is a good change of pace after the dark, dismal couple of chapters, which was Nova Prospekt and Entanglement. Solid, nothing crazy. B. Water hazard, controversial one. Let's get into it, shall we? Water hazard. So a lot of people really don't like this chapter. You know, it's kind of, and here's probably some of their reasonings for it. One, there are two sequences in water hazard where you have to get out of the boat, go through a building, unlock a dam, like a door, so you can then get back in your airboat and go back through. In fact, yeah, there's either 2 or 3, and it can feel kind of repetitive. I always kind of personally liked water hazard. I don't know why. I like riding around in the airboat. I think it's fun. I think some of the puzzles are interesting. I like the first real physics, well, besides Root Canal, first real physics-based puzzle, or one of the first, with the blue barrels that you have to use to prop up that ramp so you can go, you know, freaking, you know, woo, right over that ramp onto the next part. There's some cool jumps, really cool set piece where that smokestack's falling. I always thought it was just really exciting. I love evading the Hunter Chopper's bombs in the water. So this is going to be a personal opinion. For me, I thought water hazard is an A, and I understand there's a couple of things about it that aren't good, but this is my opinion. I don't care. You're in my house now, and I love water hazard. Objectively, probably B. I'm putting it in A because I love it. I always love playing through water hazard, like a normie. All right, Nova Prospekt, epic chapter. Nova Prospekt, you've heard whispers about this. It's never really implicitly stated in a way that, like, maybe like even your first time playing through you would pick up necessarily. But it's essentially, you know, a prison for the Combine. They put rebels or anti-citizens into this prison. It's also a place where all the transhumanism of the Combine in the City 17 area takes place. So converting rebels or anti-citizens into stalkers, skinning them, removing their limbs, wiping their minds. This is where the humans get turned into Combine soldiers through, you know, transhumanism. Genetic modification. I don't know. You know, breast milk. I have no idea what happens at this facility, but you know, something along those lines. So you show up, you stormed it. Now you're in the prison. It's dark. It's ominous. It's oppressive. It's nighttime. And the antlions are working with you to kind of flush your way, flush the facility out, or the prison out, as you work your way through it, trying to find Eli Vance. I like Nova Prospekt for the atmosphere. No new mechanics. Just kind of a fighting chapter, working your way through chapter, world building. Some cool fights with antlion guards. This dark, abysmal prison. But besides that, I mean, when you really look at it objectively, it's just it is what it is. Like water hazard, say what you will, but there's at least something happening there more so than Nova Prospekt. So for that reason, I gotta go B. Great chapter. Wow, we only got one S so far. Black Mesa East. Black Mesa East. He's a yeasty boy. Black Mesa East is cool. You show up, it's finally a breath of fresh air after being chased by all the Hunter Choppers and water hazard and zombies and Combine and Metro Cops, and you're finally just get like, get some character interaction. No real story building at all, actually. You're under the impression that you're just gonna put on a lab coat and start working for Eli, and then you know what happens. The Combines show up, as they always do. They crash the party. Combine crash the party. You get to play ball with Dog, though, before that happens, and this is where you get the gravity gun. Dope. Love this chapter. It does what it needs to do perfectly, which is give the player, you know, when you look at it, it's like a rise and fall. That's how games should work if they're doing it right. Rise, tension, fall. Because if it's too much rise, it's just too brutal, you burn out. If it's too low, you just get bored and turn it off. So rise, fall. And the energy of Black Mesa East is sort of that point. It's cool. I will give it a B. It does what it needs to do. I mean, it's great. The thing about this game, like, I'm sorry, it's just a great game. Like, it's really difficult to give any one of these chapters a bad grade. We'll see if that changes by the end. We're almost there. Ravenholm. All right. We don't go to Ravenholm. Yeah. I'll tell you right now, S. And it's in front of our Benefactors, for sure. We all know this. We Don't Go to Ravenholm is one of the best chapters ever created for a video game. It takes you completely by surprise, for the most part. So in Black Mesa East, there's that tunnel, and Alex makes an offhand comment like, "It's the old passage to Ravenholm. We don't go there anymore." Like, what? Kind of mysterious. Eventually, at the end of Black Mesa East chapter, she puts you, or a dog puts you in that tunnel, and you're like, as you walk forward, you're getting more and more creeped out. You're like, what the fuck? There's like corpses everywhere. It's like, am I walking into like a Saw game or something? Well, literally you are, actually, kind of. But like Saw the movie, but you know what I mean. Anyways, you get up there and you first go through the door and you realize, oh, I'm in like this is like a zombie town. This is now like a horror situation, right? So there's that, oh shit, like, ooh. And then you got the gravity gun and you're tying two together, and there's all these sharp objects, saw blades, just right through zombies. The propane canisters that light them on fire. And then you start coming across Father Gregory's traps. You're going, why is this zombie town, Ravenholm, trapped? Like, why are there like, and then, well, you're like, okay, so there's probably a survivor here, obviously. Like, he set up these traps to try and, you know, stay safe or wherever he's at. Nope. Father Gregory's a madman. He's a priest that wants to cull the herd. You know, he wants to, you know, liberate his flock, so to speak, by crushing them with Honda Civics. He sets up like a car that's hanging from ropes, and you pull lever and just go, you know, like whack-a-moles, his, you know, old friends that have now been taken over by head crabs. So you're dealing with that, this Father Gregory thing. It's just really fun. It's a physics, you know, you're really getting into the physics of Half-Life at that point with the gravity gun, and you know, you don't really need your guns as much if you're doing it right and you're using your mind to like look around at the environment. And if you're aware of what's around you, you can pretty much use that to get through any situation. Ravenholm was sick. It's one of the best chapters in the game. In any game, probably one of the best. So Highway 17 is a good chapter. It's fine. I wouldn't say it's great. It's another driving chapter, a lot more elongated than Water Hazard. I don't understand why people like Highway 17 better than Water Hazard. Like, Highway 17 kind of goes so long that it becomes not fun, if that makes sense. It's just a lot of driving, getting out, shooting Combine. The bridge scene is pretty cool. The bridge scene is pretty cool. I will give it that, where you're on the bridge and you kind of have that acrophobia moment where it's, you know, woo, I'm high up. But besides that, truly I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I would go C. That's just my personal opinion. Some people might really enjoy it. I know a lot of you like to sit in cranes and, you know, use your magnets to pick up boxes and, you know, crush bodies with them and stuff. Hey man, I got nothing wrong with that, but it ain't necessarily my cup of tea as much. I don't know why. I just enjoyed Water Hazard more as a driving sequence. There's more jumps and freedom. I don't know. You know, tomato, tomato here. Sandtraps. Okay, so Sandtraps is a phenomenal chapter. I'm putting it in S. Let me tell you why. Sandtraps has a lot of things going for it. I'll name a couple immediately. So, okay, so 1, don't touch the sand, and you have to, like, you know, use physics props to move around the environment and, like, jump onto a prop so that the antlions don't spawn all the way across, like, a sandy beach. Really clever, mechanically speaking, for a game. 2, Laszlo's is in here, the finest mind of our generation. 3, you get the bug bait. Big deal. Big deal. This completely flips. Holy shit, I just realized that a lot of what I like about... Yeah, Sandtraps is phenomenal, because then you're storming Nova Prospekt, the outside of it, with all the freaking bugs. With all the antlions, dude. So now what was your enemy is now your ally. Another one of those moments where Half-Life is just, you know, it takes what you know, had expectations or knowledge about, and now it flips it on top of itself. It's phenomenal in terms of just a gameplay experience. You know, it's really rare that you get that in games. Generally, it's static all the way through, like a video game. But anyway, Sandtraps. Yeah, you get the bugs. You're storming Nova Prospekt with your army of antlions. It's a phenomenal chapter. It's a phenomenal chapter. I love it. Not as good as Ravenholm, but pretty damn close. Pretty damn close. Red Letter Day. More of a story progression moment. Really cool. It kind of kicks off, actually, all the events of the game. The teleporter sequence. You meet Dr. Kleiner. You meet Barney. And more importantly, you meet Lamar, who kind of is the reason this whole game actually takes place, kind of. Lamar could have been nudged by the G-Man to fuck the teleporter up. Or it could have been a stroke of fate. I prefer to think Lamar is smarter than all of us. He's smarter than G-Man, and he knew, you know, G-Man didn't know what he was doing. He just kind of threw Gordon on the train. Lamar knew he had to take things into his own hands. So as Gordon's in the teleporter, testing it out, getting teleported to Black Mesa East, Lamar fucks it up and alerts Dr. Breen that Gordon's there. Silly head crab. So it's just a fun little chapter. Nothing crazy. It does what it needs to do. I keep saying that, but it's true. Yeah, I'll give it an A. It's earned it. Alright, Root Canal. Final one here before I do my sort of final arrangement. So Root Canal's dope. You're just after Red Letter Day and you're running out of the city. Basically, you're trying to get out of City 17 and the whole city's on alert. You get the pistol, you get the submachine gun. You're jumping on train cars a little bit, working your way through the Underground Railroad as well. Barnacles. Bit of a dreary chapter, kind of underground, kind of claustrophobic. Shows, I'm trying to think exactly, like, if there's anything, like, really crazy that happens in there. Not really. You're kind of just you're getting grips of the game in Root Canal. If you've already played Half-Life 1, you're probably fine, but if you haven't, you're getting, this is a chapter to kind of teach you mechanics, how things work, and do it in sort of a contained way with like a pistol and a submachine gun before it gets all freaking wild. You know, Half-Life games, you always start like really simple, and by the end, you know, it's like a frog in a boiling pot. Like now you're boiling and you don't even know it. So it does what it, oh god, I almost said it does what it needs to do once again. It's an effective chapter. It's not a fun chapter for me necessarily. I'll put it as C. Above Dark Energy. Just to be fair. Okay, so now I'm going to do final arrangements, just to make sure. Maybe we'll put Anticitizen One in A. Okay. I don't feel great about it, but I feel good about it. I think that's pretty solid. It's not perfect, you know. I'm hesitating moving Follow Freeman or Nova Prospekt up to A tier, but that's fine. I'm gonna be a little objective. You know, like I said, if I had my dither 2s and Y4s, I'd throw everything in S and A tier, but if I had to choose a couple chapters that are Bs or Cs, yeah, sure, you know, whatever, it's fine. It is what it is. I love the game. The whole game's amazing. I'll put the tier list down below in the description, so if you want to take it too, you can. Feel free to tweet it at me. I think that'd be cool. Also, like I mentioned, another overnight VR video is coming soon. I've just been in, you know, complete flux for the past 2 weeks, so I thought I'd have the time, but I haven't. So this coming week I'll get one for you. And again, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, or whenever it is when, you know, you see this, whenever I upload it. So thank you very much. You guys have a good one, okay?